The cold wind cut across the Afghan mountains, whistling through the rocks like a warning. A convoy of armored trucks trudged along the dirt road, carrying weapons and men who had spilled enough blood to stain the desert forever. At the front sat Colonel Ibrahim, a hardened officer of the Black Fangs, an international mercenary unit notorious for breaking laws and governments alike. He had seen men tremble before him, entire villages set on fire with just one of his orders. Yet tonight, a nervous shadow lingered in his eyes. Because somewhere out here, in these unforgiving hills, lurked him. The ghost. No rank, no country, no official records. Only rumors. Only fragments of broken stories told by men who survived with shattered bones, if they survived at all. The ghost doesn't kill, one whispered legend went. He breaks arms, legs, spines. He leaves you alive so you remember him every time the pain comes back. Colonel Ibrahim hated legends, but this one gnawed at his pride. Too many of his men had returned limping, screaming in nightmares about a shadow faster than bullets. And yet, no intelligence agency had ever pinned down a face, a fingerprint, or even a real name. Just the ghost. Suddenly, the convoy halted. A soldier ran up to Ibrahim's truck, panting. "Sir, roadblock ahead. Rocks. Looks like a landslide." The colonel's eyes narrowed. His instinct screamed. No, too clean, too deliberate. He stepped out of the vehicle, scanning the cliffs above. Silence pressed in. The moon was hidden behind clouds. The air tasted wrong. And then, it happened. A rope snapped down from the ridge, and a dark figure swung into the middle of the road. Masked, dressed in matte black, carrying no firearm, only two metal batons strapped to his thighs. His presence was enough to send a ripple of dread through the mercenaries. "The ghost," one of the younger soldiers whispered, before biting his tongue. Colonel Ibrahim raised his rifle. Fire. But before a single shot echoed, the ghost moved. He was speed and silence. A blur of limbs, ducking, striking, twisting rifles out of hands. The first man who lunged had his arm bent backward with a crack that echoed like gunfire. Another went down with his knee twisted in the wrong direction. Within seconds, chaos erupted. Screams, the crunch of bones, the thud of broken men collapsing into dust. The ghost didn't waste bullets. He didn't need them. Every move was surgical, brutal. Soldiers fired wildly, but he was never where they aimed. He seemed to melt into the darkness, reappearing only to snap another elbow, crush another shoulder. Colonel Ibrahim gritted his teeth. He had fought wars on 3 continents, but this was humiliation. "Stand your ground," he roared, firing his own weapon. Sparks lit the night as bullets struck stone, but the ghost was already behind him. The colonel spun, too late. A gloved hand seized his rifle, twisting it away. In the same motion, the ghost's baton slammed into his wrist. Pain shot through Ibrahim as he stumbled back, his weapon clattering to the ground. The ghost leaned close, his voice low and guttural through the mask. "Tell your colonels, I'm not finished." And then, as swiftly as he appeared, the shadow was gone, melting back into the mountains, leaving behind groaning men with broken bodies. Dash. By dawn, word had spread across every mercenary camp in the region. The ghost had struck again. Men whispered around fires, too afraid to speak loudly. Some wanted to quit, others sharpened their knives with shaking hands. But the ghost wasn't just a nightmare for soldiers. He was a question mark for governments. Who trained him? Why did he target mercenary leaders? And why, above all, did he never kill? Only one thing was certain: every colonel feared him. And somewhere, in a hidden underground chamber hundreds of miles away, the ghost sat quietly, removing his mask. His real face was scarred, his eyes sharp with old pain. He opened a worn notebook, filled not with names of the dead, but with the names of colonels yet to be broken. At the top of the list was written, Ibrahim. The sun bled into the desert horizon, staining the mountains crimson. Colonel Ibrahim's convoy limped back to base, carrying more wounded than standing men. Medics scrambled, shouts filled the air, but silence hung over the camp when the news spread: the ghost had returned. Ibrahim sat inside his tent, his wrist wrapped in bandages, his pride shattered worse than the bones of his soldiers. His second-in-command entered cautiously. "Sir, what do we tell command?" The colonel's jaw tightened. "We tell them nothing. Not a word. If word spreads that he broke us again, the Black Fangs will crumble. And I will not be remembered as the colonel who let a shadow ruin us." But deep down, fear not at him. The ghost had whispered a promise. And Ibrahim knew enough about men like him. When they promised, they delivered. The past that was buried. While mercenaries licked their wounds, the ghost sat cross-legged in a cavern miles away. The cave was bare except for a cot, a lantern, and the notebook filled with names. He cleaned his batons with a soldier's discipline. Then, for a long moment, he stared at the list. His hand trembled slightly, tracing over the letters. Ibrahim, Navarro, Zorich, Khan. Each name was tied to blood. His family's blood. Years ago, he had been no ghost, just a boy named Rafik, son of a small-town doctor in a war-torn country nobody cared about. His father treated soldiers and civilians alike. Neutral. Merciful. But neutrality was weakness in a land of mercenaries. One night, the Black Fangs stormed the village. Colonel Ibrahim led them. They accused Rafik's father of healing enemy fighters. The punishment was swift. The house burned. His parents died screaming inside. Rafik survived, pulled from the flames by a passing stranger, a retired commando who lived in the mountains. That man became his mentor, his only family. For years, he trained Rafik not just to fight, but to endure. To use pain as fuel, silence as a weapon. When his mentor died, Rafik buried his name with him. From that day forward, he became only the ghost. And he vowed, I will not kill them. Death is mercy. I will break them, one bone at a time, until fear devours them. The hunt. Weeks later, Colonel Ibrahim tried to reclaim control. He ordered double patrols, drone surveillance, heavier weapons. But paranoia spread like poison. Men swore they heard footsteps in empty hallways. Others refused to sleep near windows. And then, one night, the base alarms wailed. A supply truck exploded at the gates. Chaos erupted. Soldiers scrambled, guns blazing. And in the smoke, he came, flowing like a shadow, batons flashing. This time, the ghost wasn't just breaking bones. He was dismantling an army. He struck communications first, smashing radios, cutting wires. He collapsed towers with explosives stolen from their own storage. Without orders, the mercenaries fought like blind men. Colonel Ibrahim stormed into the chaos, pistol raised. Stand your ground. He's just one man. But even he knew that wasn't true. The ghost wasn't one man. He was every shadow, every scream, every broken limb. By dawn, the base was rubble. Half of Ibrahim's men deserted. Those who remained whispered of quitting the Black Fangs forever. The confrontation. That evening, Ibrahim stood alone on the scorched parade ground, waiting. His pistol rested at his side. You want me? He shouted into the darkness. I am here. Stop hiding like a coward. A voice answered, not from ahead, but behind. Coward, you burned children in their homes. Ibrahim spun, but the ghost was already upon him. The pistol flew from his hand. The batons cracked against his legs, sending him to his knees. The colonel gritted his teeth. If you want revenge, kill me. The ghost crouched, pressing a baton against Ibrahim's arm. No, killing you would end your pain. I want you to live with it. And with a savage twist, he shattered the colonel's elbow. Ibrahim screamed, collapsing into the dirt. The ghost leaned close, whispering the words that would haunt him forever, every colonel falls. And you are only the first. Then he vanished into the night, leaving Ibrahim broken and howling under the empty sky. The legend grows. News traveled fast. Mercenaries fled contracts. Colonels locked themselves in bunkers. Governments tried to deny his existence, but rumors grew. Some said he was a demon. Others swore he couldn't be killed. A few believed he was an entire unit disguised as one man. But the ghost didn't care what they believed. All that mattered was the notebook, and the list of names yet to be broken. He stood once more in his mountain cave, mask dangling from his hand, eyes burning with the fire of the past. No records. No identity, he whispered to the shadows. But every colonel will remember me. And with that, he picked up his batons, ready for the next name.